probably all of you have had the experience of perhaps walking through a park that has flower gardens in it. And maybe you walked through with someone who never saw any of the flowers. Were the flowers still there? Of course. But the other person just simply was oblivious, or perhaps self-occupied in some way, and was just not taking them in, taking in either their beauty or their truth. It's the same when you look at those wonderful shots of these brilliant light entities doing their spiritual path within the cosmos. Oh, the span of their life is much longer than yours, because the elements that compose them are very fluid, and under certain circumstances, they can change identities, usually heat and pressure. And that's not exactly the way it is for the human consciousness, is it? Oh, heat and pressure do create some effects upon the consciousness. And as you're seeing in many places right now, when that heat and pressure is there, some move to the lowest frequency end of the spectrum, while others move to the highest frequency level on the spectrum. And indeed, you see, with love, all things are possible. And that seems like such a grandiose statement to make. St. Paul is the one that said that, actually. With love, all things are possible. Healing, awakening, seeing what is really here rather than what one has only projected to be here. And the other thing that is sometimes hard to see is the force that binds it all together, that connects one human race. It's a very interesting thing when you see how reactionary some people are to races other than their own. That's a huge piece to be worked out right now in the US. It's in other places as well. But you see, in seeing and designating anyone as other, they're not like me. Therefore, I don't want to be around them. Just think how much of the divine that person is pushing from their life. There is something so stupendous about diversity. It is not to be seen as a threat, my dear friends. It is to be seen as a great blessing. What is so beautiful about being connected with other cultures is that you gain their ontological understanding. Oh, perhaps that's too big of a word. I know a lot of people don't think in those terms, but basically, what is life all about? And for those of you who are familiar with the Native American tradition, it's a beautiful cosmology. Everything is contained and is functioning within the medicine circle. And there are many medicine circles. Each person is a wheel, a medicine wheel or a medicine circle. But so is the cosmos. And this is the wheel within a wheel within a wheel within a wheel. But it's all accounted for. Now, it's approached a bit differently than certain other major spiritual traditions approach the divine. But there's still connection, there's still prayer. I mean, so many of the elements are identical. Maybe who one prays to changes culture to culture. But if you are not familiar with the fullness of the medicine circle, I recommend you get into it and see it as a cosmology, a symbol for how this cosmos works and how everything comes together. Noting that the directions mean different things and hold different energies and provide different ways for people to evolve, to grow and develop, to be more. Or even if you look into some of the traditions of Aboriginal people, they're much more connected to reality. And indeed, in their one of the things when the Europeans went to Australia and they came in contact with the people that they called Aboriginal, interesting word, but they didn't understand how people just knew how to do certain things. For instance, these people would just show up, maybe en masse, for an event. Because there was this psychic connection to all that is. They might be showing up, let's say, for the death of a last being of a species that's going extinct. Or they might be showing up because someone is sick and needs help. But there was a psychic connection where they just knew where to be. In fact, when the Westerners came, it was very interesting because they believed in inclusivity, you see, including everybody in this divine wheel. And so they would say things to them like, I have seen you from afar, and I am hungry for your presence. And this was kind of a standard greeting. Of course, they always knew when people were coming because they had this psychic connection to everything in the phenomenal world and beyond, everything in the numinous world. Much of that has been, should we say, educated out of these people. But their traditions, their culture, their beauty can give you insights into love that you won't get from your own culture. And this is true of every culture. No one culture has all there is when it comes to love. In fact, this is why it's so important to receive and respect every culture, because they're giving you a new idea about love, about how the world runs, about how the cosmos runs. And I think the indigenous peoples of all kinds had some of the most powerful spiritual practices because they were so, and are some still, so in touch with the love that holds this earth together. And they could see the rivers as flowing love, the boulders as solidified love, the sunshine as warming love. So this is a time, because we're entering a new astrological age. It is a new time. And I urge all of you to remember to make love a part of the journey. And more than just taking stock of who you as an individual ego love. It's bigger than the I and the you, much bigger. And what we want to do is just fall into the vastness of a reality that is so big and so powerful that it cannot even be defined. It cannot truly even be spoken of. But if you commit to love, that means loving yourself as well. I have some really precious students who can't seem to love themselves. And I have some other precious students who indulge themselves, mistaking indulgence for self-love. It's not the same thing, is it? You must grow into love, particularly divine love. But it happens at the personal level too, doesn't it? Most people don't go out with the idea that I can love anybody. They pay too much attention to the differences, what you believe, what I believe, what they over there do or don't do. But the truth is, you can love anyone. And I submit to you that the main reason people don't find more people objects of their love is because they don't know their stories. Most people are aware of how difficult their own life has been, or are aware of the struggles they've faced, or the obstacles that have been in their path that have separated them from their goals. Nearly everyone is aware of that because the ego really keeps good track. But they look out and they see other people, and perhaps it appears to them as if these others don't have problems like I have. They haven't hurt like I have hurt, or they haven't been held back the way I have been held back. But of course, this is just something that the mind makes up because it doesn't know. Yet, what I find is that when people really listen to each other's stories, love always arises. Because frankly, my dear friends, it's not easy being human. And I think in the modern world today, it's particularly not easy. You are bombarded with so many diversions, with so many potential acquisitions, so much to take your mind off what you really came to do. And so as you negotiate your path into the Aquarian age, choose love.